trying to do. Right.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry.
Evening.
Hello. Evening. Sorry. So I had it in stereo. I was like, no, turn that one off. Oh, it started. Cool.
Hello, everyone out there. Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of MOC Heads.
Yes.
We're starting to find our feet, maybe slightly.
Yeah, I wasn't at all taken by surprise at the start.
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. How about you? How things your end?
Yeah, all right, cheers. All right. Enjoying the week. Yeah, all good. Getting into. Oh yeah, since we started the streaming, I've fully gotten back into mocking. I'm enjoying it, and the whole thing of, I finished it. Oh, actually, no, I want it to be quite different, so I'm going to rip half of it apart.
Yeah, standard, really.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. I was like, cool, I can take photos of this, and I was like, oh. Actually, I want that wave that I'm building to be twice as big, really. So that's happened.
I was going to make a really bad joke about the wave having ended your dry spell. In mocking, but I'm not going to stoop that low.
No, of course.
Too late.
How's your week begin? How's your fantastic prep?
Yeah, it's all right. I've got to take everything out that I've already got, dust it all down, make sure it's all okay, make sure it goes together, and I want to change some tiles on a few things just to make them all a bit more one color, or maybe just redistribute them a bit. The trouble is as well, because I've changed the way I do things slightly with like tiling and like walls, it's a case of maybe I just want to incorporate a bit of that as well. So
okay, what have you changed? You've learned some techniques.
So it's just like a bit more texturing with stuff. So I mean, I've done it on like a kind of wall I've got built for a new one, which may better get loaded up later. And as well, the same with like tiling as well. I've got like some more cobblestoney bits which will break some of the flat tiling up, Lego, because it's like, even if it's all one color, if you have something that's like a little bit different, like chucking an ingot piece there, for example, which I've done on one of them, it's just transforms it, I think, anyway. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all for texture and detail. That's I might go into it a bit too much sometimes. But yeah, I'll just run through the chat. We've got some people out there saying hello. So who have we got in? Hello to Gordon. Yes, banner, cool. Yes, remember, like and feed the algorithm. Yeah, Gordon, hello out there. Madlet Martin, hello, and Ian, Big Bod, and yourself, Gaz, hello, evening all, and KO, all right, KO, how you doing? And Red and Bricks,
evening. Hi.
EJ, hello everyone. Yeah, good to have you all, and everyone who is watching and not in the chat as well. We appreciate anyone doing that too.
And if you're watching a replay as well.
Yes.
Team replay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We all. Yeah, that is very appreciated. And hello to Maxine PolarBrix as well. Hope you're good. And PolarBrix.
Yes. Everyone keeps popping up like, oh.
Yeah. And we'll be having a look at some of PolarBrix's stuff later.
Yes.
As well. Which, that's exciting. That got me. We'll go into it later, obviously. That got me quite excited. That inspired me for I need to up my game for when I display.
Yeah, I know. I saw it and I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
Can I improve everything I've got?
And hello out there to Nicole, Lady Big Brick. Hope you're good.
Oh yeah, evening. Oh yeah. Bricklink Designer Day as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll chat a bit with Mark about that. Maybe.
Yeah.
We can,
I think he's probably bought them all, isn't he? I think he's a big fan.
I think that's what he does.
Yeah.
Anyway, you what? No. So on that note, this week we're talking with MNrk, MnrkBrix, or MNrk 2 on Twitch, MnrkBrix on Instagram. There should be links in the description for the this stream. So go click on them and follow and everything. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking to Mark, and he's got quite a unique style. And having seen him display at Swindon, I think that's probably the only one I've been to where I've seen Mark displaying it. Like, yeah, he's got a unique one of those stands that kind of just stands out. One of those tables that stands out compared to everyone else. So yeah, really looking forward to getting to talk to him. And on that note, I shall bring him in.
Hello, good evening.
Evening, you okay?
Very well, thank
Yeah,
you.
good.
Very well. I hope you both are good.
Yeah,
All good.
not too bad. All good.
Are you in fantastic mode, seeing as both of you, I suppose, is it getting to that point of ramping up?
Full swing. Yeah. So it's definitely been a busy couple of weeks. Just trying to get everything ready, trying to improve things from before, trying to make things a little bit different and a little bit better. The more you mock, the more you kind of learn things and just adjust little bits and pieces. But yeah, full time outside of work.
Sorry, it's like your cat, Gaz.
It is. Sorry, I was kind of hoping it wasn't gonna. I was really hoping that wasn't going to be that loud, but apparently.
No, that's all good. Just as
I
long as
like
you
sort of shut his mouth, but it's like that's it. You'll be stop snoring. There you go. How about that?
all good. No, that's cool. That's really exciting, though. I won't. I'm gutted I won't be there this year, but I have got my permission slip signed and ready for next year. Yeah.
Excellent. Good to hear. It is going to be a fun one. But there's going to be lots of photos, so don't worry, you won't miss out. There's going to be so much captured for those that aren't able to come along. Don't worry.
I saw the venue for the first time in. They sent out like a health and safety video, so I watched that and I was like, "Oh, that's big, isn't it?"
It is, and the year just gone, we only used half of it. The year before that, it was even less than that. So each year, it's kind of multiplied. So we only got half the room, half the space last time because they half the room was all barricaded off. So we just had like half the space, and that was huge. Like that was a very big space. We've definitely got much more this time.
Yeah, do you know how much of the space is actually being used? Is it the whole? Has it opened up the whole thing?
I believe it's the majority of the space this year. So obviously they've been giving us information. I don't know how much of it we're allowed to say, but it's going to be big. It's going to be big.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, big and
so
exciting.
Popularity has obviously gone up a bit. Then, especially it's quite a lot. Yeah. Well, everyone is going, right? Absolutely everybody is going. It sounds like.
And this is it. And I think because of its location, I mean, if you think about sort of the Manchester location, it's fairly easy, in theory, to get to from certain areas. I mean, you've got transport links to it, or you can drive to it. Look, this is me saying I have to travel 4 hours to get there, so which is nothing to America. So we have to remember that. Our country is tiny in comparison.
It's like an afternoon drive, isn't it? Over
there. Yeah. I do have to remind myself.
Truly is one of the biggest ones. And I think last year there was a group photo just from the kind of social media group and the community all having a photo done together, and there was 15-20 of us easily in that photo. And
that number may be bigger.
So many more this year as well. It's going to be good
at least. So.
17 at a push.
Right then, let's get into you, Mark, as a mock builder. Sorry. Okay. Yes. Shall we start from the beginning? And
sounds good.
How you your Lego story a bit, and specifically leaning towards how you got into mocking, what kinds of things you were doing when you started out versus now, and any journey you've had over that time?
Sure.
I won't keep asking you more questions right now because otherwise, we'll just leave you talking for a while.
Okay, so so growing up, had Lego on and off through childhood. So we had the classic Lego sets growing up, and I can vividly remember having a Technic set, a 3-in-1 fiber optic helicopter set. I vividly remember that, and just remembering, even at that young age, I was building complex builds and using the fiber optic tubes. And I mean, if you haven't seen the fiber optic that Technic used to use, and that I highly recommend it. It's just phenomenal how it just had these. You had these light tubes. They were almost very thin, clear tubes, and then you'd shine light through them, and then it would give the illusion that you've got this red going all through.
Nice.
It was amazing.
Cool.
Make a note of this.
Yeah, it is a phenomenal one, and I am on the lookout for it. So because it has such a nostalgic meaning to me. But yeah, so I had that. So I do remember Lego growing up, and I've always known about the Lego brand. But as we all do, we grow up and we go into dark ages, and we go through school and go through college. And it was through college that I discovered the collectible minifigures, and so we would pick up the collectible minifigures, and we were looking at them randomly. There was a gamer. I can't remember what CMF line it is. I'm sure the chat will be able to tell me, but it was the most of my sig fig actually, the gamer character with the glasses and the hair, and the Player One t-shirt with the game controller. And that one I looked at and I thought, that is me in Lego form. So I bought it, and I thought, just have it as a charge key on the surface of a desk or something. And then I got another one. And then I got another one. And then I got another one. So
slippery slope.
Exactly. And slowly creeping. And so that was fun. And it was the collectible minifigures I really got bit by the bug, really, and just loved the mystery aspect of it. And that's where it stopped for a bit, sort of like got a couple of collectible minifigures, and then just left it there.
Yeah, okay. Because I was wondering if there was much of a jump, like what the jump is between figures and sets. But anyway, sorry.
And that's sorry. No. So that's where it stopped until, I bought a classic set, a classic box, sort of 2018, 2019 time, just to have a play about with it a bit and see what I could do. And then again, it just went into a box and then just disappeared for a couple of years. Then the world changed with lockdown, and suddenly I was furloughed. So I had all this time on my hands, and I was trying to find something that I could do that would occupy my time, that would keep my mental health going. And I wanted to find something that I could stimulate my brain with. And so I was looking around for things. I was looking at 3D puzzles. I was looking at art materials, thinking, do I get into drawing? Do I get into all these different things? And then I found that Lego came up in the search, and I was like, do you know what? I'll have a look at what Lego's around. So I had to search through, and then I found Assembly Square, and that is the set that brought me back. Assembly Square is a set that I just took the plunge, thought, forget it, doesn't matter. I've got all this time on my hands. There's no outgoing cost of travel anymore. And so I bought it. And got it next day delivery from John Lewis. So it was at the door. Gigantic big box, biggest Lego set I've
because it's not a small box, is it?
No, it is gigantic. It was the biggest, and I thought, oh my goodness me, what have I done? This is huge.
When I got it, because I hadn't been building for long when I got Assembly Square, and I was like, oh wow, this is a step up.
And you open it, and then 33, 34 bags are in there, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness me, this is gonna, what have I done? Like, what have I done? And so what I would do is in the evening time, so during the day I'd be going out for walks and just trying to keep myself occupied. I was playing on my PlayStation, and I was playing the Nintendo Switch. So I had things to occupy my time. But in the evening time, in the downtime, I just wanted to chill and relax. I didn't. So that's where I started to build. And when I was building this Lego, that's where I was just like, I need something on in the background. And that's where I found Greg. And Greg came up as a recommend. I went Lego. I think I just typed in Lego building, and London Calling came up, and I was like, okay. So I clicked into it, and I can't remember who was on the panel for that particular time, but I'd managed to just like get to it at the very beginning, and so I got to. So I watched it, built alongside it, built a couple of bags of it, really, really happy. Stayed quiet for weeks, didn't say a word. I was lurking in the background, having it something to listen to. Yeah. Oh yeah, no.
Getting the lay of the land.
Yeah. So I was just very quiet. This was a new space, and I didn't know anyone in this space. So I was just like, do you know what? I'm just gonna just have it as something to listen to, and then I would build every night. I'd build a portion of it. I'd take it downstairs. I'd show my mum, who's now not with us, but she loved that set. Now that's why it has a huge meaning to me as well. Is she absolutely loved Assembly Square? She felt it was the most amazing thing ever. So it has both sentimental and is my favourite set as well. So even more so. So I was building this progress. I was going downstairs, and then I was showing her the progress. I said, "This is where I've got to." Sort of showing all the bits and pieces, and the build techniques were fascinating. That's what fascinated me. You've got these pieces, and they're being put together in a way that that just comes up with these phenomenal designs. So I'm taking all this in my head, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness me, this is so cool. Like, these techniques are really good. And of course, you've seen all these pieces. I'm like, I've never seen these before. So fast forward a couple of weeks, I've built Assembly Square. I finished it. I'm now like, now what? Because I've watched London Calling twice now. So I finished, I think it went a week round. So I started and then I finished around London Calling. So I'm just like, okay, now what? People were talking about Lego halls and all these sets that they've got, and they were talking about this thing called Hidden Inside that had just finished, and they were talking about all these other bits and pieces, and I was like, I need another set that's going to get me occupied. I need something else. So that's when the bug starts to bite.
It's quick as well, right?
It was.
Yeah.
So the second set I bought was the Fiat 500, which I still haven't built because I bought that as a big set. So I've got the yellow Fiat 500.
That's the first one that came out. Is it the yellow one? Or?
Yeah, the first.
So, yeah.
So I bought that, and then
started your backlog straight away on your second set.
Yeah, I started back, and this thing, I didn't know what any of these terms meant. Then, so I was building, and then I bought some loose pieces, and then I was just sitting there watching London Calling, putting bricks together, just kind of like just sitting, listening in, just fascinated with all of these. As I'd learned at that time, AFOLs, there was adult fans of Lego, and people were having all this fun time, talking about Lego that they really enjoyed, and I was starting to get bitten by that same level of love for this brand. I was starting to discover all these themes and started to look at all these sets, and then came the Spring Lantern Festival. And the Spring Lantern Festival was actually the third set that I bought, and I actually bought it. So it was Greg and Thomas were doing a midnight live stream where they were just going to go and buy it from lego.com. So of course at that point I was confident enough to talk in a chat, so I'd started to chat with people, and so I stayed up to midnight as well, and I was like, do you know what, I'm just going to stay with people and I'm just going to buy this set. So then I'm on lego.com, discovered how good Lego is when it comes to release days.
Well, we've seen that today, haven't we? Well, I haven't
exactly.
Heard about it.
Never learn. And so Greg's like, oh, I've ordered the set. Oh, brilliant. Like, got that. And I've gone, oh, brilliant. I've got the set as well. And then I get a back order notification from Lego. saying my order didn't get through in time, and now mine's on back order.
I've
And
had that once.
yeah, and so it was just
Heartbreaking.
like, all these things that happen in, and I still haven't built the Spring Lantern Festival
What?
either.
Oh wow! When did you build your second Lego set then?
Because there's a reason for it. Because I already had in my mind, I'd seen a couple of content creators. I've seen Craig, and I've seen these Lego cities in backgrounds, and I was just like, I want one of those.
Yeah,
I want a Lego city. So I was like, if I build Spring Lantern Festival now, I'm going to have to take it all apart and move. Because at this point, I knew that we were moving at some point. I knew that we were looking to move. And then, life happened, and it doesn't matter about that. But the family stuff happened in the situation, rather than went smoothly, kind of went quite abruptly. So I thought to myself, well, whilst I'm waiting, I'll just, make some custom builds and put stuff together. And so that's where I started to learn how to do mock styles. And then, we then fast forward. I'm in the chat, I'm talking with people. I've sent super chat to Greg, just like, thank you for, I can't remember what my first super chat to Greg was, but it was just like, thank you so much. This has, helped through lockdown. It was really awesome to hang out with you all. And it wasn't like a goodbye, but it was like, I've always been brought up to be super appreciative of people, and, showing gratitude to people who have been supportive. I've always been that type of person that will always show gratitude to people, whether it's verbal, and in this instance it was just to support him in the way I thought at the time would be helpful, and then just kind of like fade into the background again. And I thought I'd grow out of love with the brand and find something else, but no. I discovered that I really enjoyed making custom builds, and that's when Thomas and Claire and Kevin came up with Lego Mockumentary. They said Lego Mockumentary, and I'll never forget it. So it's a Lego Mockumentary, grab a set and come and build with us. And so, the first ever episode they're launching, and I'm still very new to this. Like I'd got to know people in the chat. I'd got to, say hi and got to see regulars and started to chat with people. But yeah, Mockumentary comes around, and suddenly I heard of this theme called Friends. And then I was just like, because I think Thomas was working on something Friends, because he was starting to build the theatre. Claire was working on something. I can't remember.
First dream. Did they start on the Friends? They all got Friends set, right? And
I think that's what they were
mocking it.
They were all mocking Friends sets. And so I went out and I got a Friends set to build alongside it, kind of thing. And so I didn't know anything about Friends, didn't know anything about mini dolls, didn't know anything about that until I'd got that set. And I looked at them and I thought, well, what are these? These aren't minifigures. Like, this is a strange thing. Like, I've been collecting minifigures. This is a new style. But the build techniques, the looks of these sets were just phenomenal. And slowly but surely, I started to fall in love with mock building and the Lego Friends brand at the same time.
Okay, so they're very much intertwined for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It was by accident, and then mock building and Friends came into play, and then I knew very soon after that I wanted to create a Friends city. And that at that point, that was when I was just like, Friends sets don't make these big elaborate buildings like the Assembly Square.
Yeah.
So if I want to do something in that style, I'm going to have to do it myself.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had kind of three. Sorry, mate. You had three things. You had Mockumentary, mocking, and getting into Friends. All kind of like perfect timing. Like, yeah. Sorry, guys. You were going to say.
Yeah. So I was going to say then. So then, do you think then, because like your first set was Assembly Square, do you think that's kind of what's influenced like the direction you've gone with a lot of your mocks as well? Because I know obviously at the Steam and Reading, you took the there was the Brick Bank and Cafe Corner, wasn't it? I think that was your first one that you did. So
I can bring up pictures of them.
So in answer to your question, guys, yes. So I loved Assembly Square, and I still do to this day. It's such a phenomenal set, and
Yeah.
I think that they've really captured the build styles of these modular buildings phenomenally. Like, you know, I've now built, you know, several of them. I own only 3 of them. I've only built 2 official ones. The rest of them I've built with my own pieces, and so
Oh wow,
I got
that's
to
cool.
experience the Lego builds. And got to experience the same as other people had. So, you know, that same build experience of building the brick bank that so many Lego fans had the moment that they were able to start building it. The same for Cafe Corner. I looked at how much it cost, you know, on the secondary market, and I was like, "There's no way on earth I can ever afford
They're
to
like
build that."
£2,000, aren't they?
Yeah,
£2,000,
and
something like that.
when you look at it, I was able to build this MOC. So this is my Rainbow Capricorn. This is the first module I built with my own pieces. And yeah, there's a few more color styles and a few different elements used. And if you look closely, you'll see not everything matches. There's even on the left-hand side, the second arch window in. There's no arch window. It doesn't exist. There isn't one. I run out.
Is that here?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I knew
Okay.
that,
Yeah.
but I knew that I wanted to see how far I could get with this, and see if I could actually do it. And so I worked with what I got. The lamppost, nothing like any lamppost. That's a minifig head turned around so that you can't see the face.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool. So it's properly
so
like, because you're using your parts, right? Is it because one of the
Yes.
things that you do with it is that you don't want to buy new parts?
That's correct.
Right?
Yeah. So as I was building this, I was absolutely loving this build style, and so I was thinking to myself, if I'm going to try and get this entire thing built using this box of bulk pieces that I bought from, I think I'd end up getting them from eBay. I bought this huge gigantic box of 15 kilograms of Lego, because I just thought, if I'm going to go and buy, I know originally when I bought that, I thought I'm just going to piece together sets from it. So I already had in my mind that I wanted to piece together some sets, but I didn't think at the time I was going to do modular buildings. And so I'd had all these pieces, I'd sorted all these pieces out. I think at this point I'd already done YouTube for a bit. So I'd recorded organizing videos of how I'd sorted those pieces out. So I'd had those pieces ready to go.
Yes.
And I thought,
we
do
will
you
get
know
on
what?
the sorting as well.
Yeah.
This is,
It's just like, I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I had all these odd pieces, and I thought, I'm going to try. I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to see how far I can go with it. And so I did.
That's really cool. Bring up the other one. So that's Cafe Corner, right? And then this is Brick Bank.
This is the Brick Bank.
Yeah. Picture. Is this my picture from Swindon?
This is your picture, I believe.
Ah, okay.
I thought I recognised it when you sent over. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. So again, this
it.
one. So we can see the mini dolls. So at the point I built the Cafe Corner, I knew that I wanted to build with mini dolls. I wanted mini dolls to be the focus of these modulars, because I wanted mini dolls to be represented, because I'd gone to a couple of Lego shows, saw 0 mini dolls. I'm like, well, why are the mini dolls not here? Like, is it that, why have we not got the Friends theme? So we were seeing like, you know, elaborate design. So you see like a Disney one, and you might have the Disney princesses, but it was like there was no mini dolls. And I'm thinking, okay, where is the representation for mini dolls? Because as an AFOL, I looked at this theme and I thought, these are fantastic. You know, these are so cool. All these different characters and representations of people. You know, they're more humanoid, so I thought they'd be more relatable. And there wasn't anything there. I wasn't seeing anything. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to represent mini dolls. Because mini dolls were getting a lot of, you know, a lot of jibe and a lot of
stick, don't they?
A lot of stick, because of course they are different. They are different from minifigures, and I didn't care.
I suppose it kind of speaks a bit about what you're going for. Like, well, the fact that they're more diverse in the first place, but you're 100%. Encouraging diversity, right? And yeah, the fact that they're more diverse. And shame on us, Lego AFOLs in the community who put down mini dolls because they're getting put down for being different, right? So yeah, you're going
and
against
I
that.
mean exactly. And the thing is that I don't discount minifigures, and there's no higher pedestal to put either one on, not at all. Like, they are both equal in their own right in my eyes. Like, I love minifigures and mini dolls. I find that with mini dolls, yes, there are elements of them that aren't compatible with certain things. So your Lego chairs, they can't sit, they don't have studs on
right, because they've just got
on their
the
legs.
studs on the feet, right?
That's right.
They'll go onto onto studs, right?
They'll go onto studs. Their hands don't rotate, so their hands are permanently stuck in the outward position. And so, working with those limitations, obviously Lego Friends builds have some adaptation. They are taller than a minifigure, so the builds are slightly more adapted. Built Friends builds are adapted, even
Do
though
they have
you
the
can
same
make them work.
Sorry,
Sorry.
the door frames, for instance, are they the same?
Yeah,
because I guess
100%
they're
the same.
probably twice as tall as a minifig, so they're probably actually not proportionate to a minifig.
So the idea behind a mini doll is that the hair pieces are universal between both. So they wanted to make sure that with mini dolls and minifigures, that the mini doll, anything that hair-wise and accessory-wise that a mini doll could use, a minifigure could use, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Because then Lego didn't need to produce two different elements for things.
Very
they
handy.
still do the same thing. So and that means that any hairpiece that you see in a Friends set can be used in a city set. And when you put a mini doll and a minifigure together, the mini doll is slightly taller, ever so slightly taller.
Right.
It's very handy. There is that swappable element to that as well, because I know just from whenever you're sort of trying to do like any sort of custom figure, the amount of limited hair pieces you've got for particularly the female figures, it's just crazy. And even you got like a couple of styles, but then if you can swap in ones from a different range like that, is just adds loads of possibilities as well.
And the Friends theme's accessible. Like, it's constantly on sale. That you see it available everywhere. You can pick them up everywhere. And the other thing that drove me to Friends is the color. So I love color. I love color, and I love expression of color. I find that if we're going to go all in with Lego and we're going to have that fun experience, then let it be color. Like, so when builds are yellow and lavender and purple, yes, you're not really going to see that in real world, but we're not talking about real world. We're talking about a different experience here. And so when you take away the colors of these builds and you just look at the builds themselves, if you're not a Friends color fan, these are phenomenal builds. You could swap these pieces out. You could swap that garish color that you don't like out for a tan, a medium, gray, a light gray. You can change it up however you want, but you can still have a phenomenal build. And it doesn't cost that much money, because a lot of the pieces at the start of these Friends sets that I was starting to get into were the basic bricks. They were pieces that are readily available, but we were getting introduced them in these fun, bright colors. The colors that you've got in the classic box that would just sit into one side. Your yellows and your purples and your pinks. They were just, you'd gravitate more towards those ones, especially if you were a city builder or building buildings. You'd gravitate more to the ones that are recognizable to you. That you in the real world.
So you can kind of do so if you wanted, you could kind of do the opposite to what you've done with the modulars, if you wanted. So you could have it. So I don't know. So because everyone's talking about it, the new set, the is it Andrea's Mansion that the Bods have just built? You could really just do a color flip on that and just make it more Lego City colors, and then it's still you still got the still brilliant set, but it's just.
Someone did that. I think Tiago, maybe. He literally just swapped the tiles on the front. He just swapped them for black, and that would please anyone who's not into the colours.
And that's it. But when you, as you said, Gaz, it's a perfect point, and I fully agree. When you look at the build, look past the colour, look to the builds, because actually, from me as a MOC builder, I get my inspiration from sets. and from builders and from people that have built before me, and I absorb and take in those build styles, and I learn them and I adapt them for myself. When I'm looking at these sets, the colors are, I like color, so the color appeals to me, but the build appeals to me more.
Okay.
Because it's that build style that draws you in. It's that fun building that has that interesting element. It has like a curvature. I mean, when I was building regular mockumentary, we used to have funny hashtags. Would have like MNrk style, because it had to have like a curve in it. All my mocks would have curves in the windows, or there'd be bricks that would, there would be no straight edges. It would all have some curves, and it becomes something that I enjoyed doing, and something I thrived to do was to take these friend sets and to build them and experience them. And that's what I did. I took these friend sets that were very inexpensive. They weren't expensive at all. Most of these sets were under £25. So when you budget that out, you can actually, and you're getting them on sale, so you're getting them for £20 or £15.
They do go like half price as well, quite readily with friends. And so did you keep them built, or is that like what fed your parts collection, like the friend sets? Would you break them down, use them, like learn the techniques, and then make your own out of it?
Yes. So what I would do is with the Lego mockumentary, it went on for maybe 2.5 hours or so. And normally what I would do is I would be building that friend set, photograph it, take it apart, and mock it all in one episode. So I had I wasn't taking my time with them. I was building them quick. So I was encouraging myself to kind of think on my feet. And I think that's what helped me a lot, be able to experiment, because I wasn't restricting myself to, it needs to be like this. It was like, no, get those plates, stack those plates, it doesn't matter if they're odd colors, put them at the back. It was like, see what you can make from what you've got and only use those. Keep the restriction of only being able to use those. But in answer to your question, those sets were taken apart the moment that they were built. But I always build a set first, because number one, I like to experience the set as the designer intended, and to give respect to the designers, because they do a phenomenal job. I like to understand their build style and to respect that as I'm building it, and then get those skills from these builds, because these designers are doing absolutely phenomenal work in designing these sets and getting them to that price point and getting the detail and style in. So I always feel as if I'm doing a service to the designers by building it as they've intended it, but then subconsciously I'm taking those and adapting those designs, and I'm already in my head as I'm building it thinking, I could take that and do that, and I could take that and do that. One of the things I've always had the ability to do, and I'm very fortunate, is I can picture the final product before I've even started. I know what it's going to look like. I know what I want to get to, and I can see those pieces, and I can see from this, I know I can get something like this from it.
That's cool. And with the on mockumentary, so when you were building like the smaller sets, what kind of things would you build out of? Would you mock out of them? Would it be like a building or like similar style to what the original set was, or was it just completely different? Would you see like something completely different with the pieces you're building with, or both? Or
it depends. Like most of the time, I would just one set that I would have been my go-to set. Obviously now it's retired. Is the costume shop. It's the yellow, the bright light yellow and purple and lavender building, the Friends one, because it was super inexpensive, but it came with lots of windows, lots of doors, lots of big pieces for you to be able to go with, some panels and such. But when you build sets like those, I always intended to keep them to their intended purpose. So if it was a costume shop or it was a dressmaker's, then my rebuild would be a dressmaker's, but it would be a dressmaker's in a completely different style. And I tried to set myself parameters where it wouldn't go outside of a 16 by 16.
We were saying I think in the last stream about having that, parameters like that
Yeah,
and limitations and working within them to help kind of feed your
It's super
creativity.
important as well. It gives you a ground base. It gives you a focus. And if you've got this form factor that you can build towards, it kind of helps you with a starting block. So if you've got a bunch of bricks, the one thing that I would always use, and the one thing I always allowed myself, the one thing is a base plate to put it onto, because I needed something to. So when I would mock, the one thing, so I build it entirely from the set, bar the 16 by 16 plate, but it would only ever be used as the base.
And is that the same for the? Sorry, is that the same for like the 32 by 32, 48 by 48 base plates as well? That's like the one exception to the rule, as it were. Okay.
Yes. Cool. So I'd always try and keep to those parameters, because in my mind I had the city mindset. These were all going to be made into sets for my city. Therefore, I wanted them to be able to be made into modular style, not modular buildings. I'm not going to trigger you, don't worry. But modular style in the sense that they could be placed next to one another and form some form of cohesive line.
Yeah, nice. I wanted to ask about the colours as well. Like a couple of questions, I guess. First, do you have a preference as to the colour scheme for Friends? Because it seems to have changed. I've only got back into Lego in the last couple of years, so I don't know what it was like. How long Friends been going? 5, 10 years? However long ago.
It's over 10 years now. They've been going for more than 10 now, easily.
Oh, wow.
Okay, fair. Do you prefer, well, if you even have a preference, the newer colour style or the like older colour palette?
And then kind also, of muted now, aren't they, I suppose?
Yeah, but weirdly, but also neon. It's more refined, I feel.
So in answer to your question, I switch between the two. I always found that Lego Friends style buildings always seem to work, even though some of the color combinations would appear a little bit garish. They kind of worked, and they worked for the style I was going for. As I said before, I like the color aspect of things. I like the kind of vibrancy that color brings, and so it was nice to build with lavenders and add elements of pink, but also bring in some tan and some white and some dark tan. There was quite a bit of dark tan used in Friend sets, sort of intertwined in. And white as well. White was used a lot in Lego Friends. And of course, you've got that shade that is so easily used because it will go with any color that you put in it with. So you could kind of chop up some of the blocks of more brighter colors and more kind of garish colors in some people's eyes, with some white to kind of mute it a tad down. So
it's kind of a bit of an accent as well, though, isn't it, to it as well? Really, which is quite cool.
Exactly. But I do like the I do have I more lean towards the newer kind of Friend style. I've been a Friends advocate for many years, and that is why everything I do is with mini dolls, because I want to be a Friends advocate to everyone. I want to show that Lego Friends is a solid theme, and that sometimes things that are unknown or things that are strange and foreign to us in terms of like mini dolls, it doesn't matter. Like, you can still experience an awesome Lego build and have a good build experience with these mini dolls, because actually they are Lego as well, and there are elements, and we'll touch on diversity later, because obviously that's a huge part of why I do it for, but from the colors aspect of things, when I think we started to see more acceptance of Lego Friends into the kind of general, when the year before and the year of the not the reboot, but the kind of the
progression,
generation jump.
As it seems to be in the last kind of like year-ish, or maybe even actually since that. 2 years. Because right, okay, because at least in my time, it seems like there was a distinct jump, or like the Friends line just seemed to up its game, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they've got a lot more.
past couple of years. Been
It did.
the
So
peak, isn't it? Really, with some things, it's like, well, techniques available.
we found that I think it was the Main Street. So Lego Friends Main Street, one of my favorite sets, but full of garish color. Like you've got purples and lilacs, and you've got bright yellow buildings and blue buildings, and you've got green, and very, very, very bright and vibrant, and almost a nod to the colors of the past, like the garish colors of the past. To some, as I said, I love them. But then towards the end of the Friends line, we got the Assembly Theatre, which is done entirely tan with hints of teal, but it was tan and white. Emma's Art School, tan and white with some sand green.
Okay.
We then saw the we saw other sets coming around, and they had a similar theme. We saw Olivia's going into space. She had the rocket and the space scenes. Again, the color scheme was like they had purple brought into it, but also just white. So these colors were the Friends Main Street kind of, did the puke rainbow all over it, and have that vibrancy all in that set.
Nice cut.
Then they were going trying to say. Yeah, I mean, I love it. As I said, I love the colors. I love that set. But we got to see the more dialed down muted tones, and we got to see that the Friends designers were having fun, and yet you still had mini dolls in these sets that arguably were more in line with a lot of people's color palette and taste, and they could see them perhaps being integrated a bit easier into their cities. So yeah, it's I like it now. The more muted color palettes, just because I've gotten used to them. But I still have a nostalgic love for the bright, and I'm not afraid to build with bright either.
And so, have the way you do your MOCs as well? Does that kind of follow the similar trend then with the colors, and that you've maybe gone for a similar color palette to where it is now versus maybe when you started? Because obviously the cafe corner was full of the multicolors, but obviously now, would you say maybe you've followed that slightly with and gone a bit more?
I think so. I think I've allowed myself to naturally gravitate not too far away from it, as we will see with my newest one. I still gravitate towards bright, because I still want that bright color bit, that thing that stops you, the things that you're walking past, you're like, oh wait, that's different. And that's what I love. I love that, and having done conventions now, we'll be coming up in April or May time, it'll be a year. So I haven't done too many conventions displaying myself.
Right, okay, I was going to ask. Yeah. So when have you displayed? Sorry, I'll let you finish what you were saying.
No. All I was going to say is, again, it was just I got bit by the display bug. And the display bug of having
was it?
Stop. Yeah, literally. Yeah. We won't talk about Didcot. And had mini dolls on display and having people stop. And some people would stop, look, walk away because it was mini dolls, they weren't interested. And that's fine. It's not for them. Not everything is for everybody. I certainly didn't take any offense to that whatsoever. Not everything is for everybody. But those one or two people at the very beginning that would stop and stare and start to create stories with the characters that were there and loved the mini dolls. And I had lots of people coming up to me and saying, I love that you've used mini dolls. I love that there are mini dolls in here. What made you use mini dolls? And it opened up conversation about mini dolls are a product of Lego, and you can display with them, you can utilize them in builds, and you can make these scenes and these stories with mini dolls just like you can with minifigures.
Nice. And with with displaying, was that ever kind of a goal from your mocking, or what kind of, I suppose actually a more general question, what were your goals with mocking? Or did you even have any goals other than just wanting to create something, or was it like sharing them online? Was there an aspiration to display, or did that kind of just come about in a different way?
It came about in a different way. So at the beginning, I had no intentions of displaying, none whatsoever. I didn't even want anything to do with the display. But for me, it was about building and, you know, showing my creations off. Like Mockumentary had the hashtag Lego Mockumentary, and so I would always upload to that. And so my Instagram feed would be full, and they're still all on there. They're still all on there. So they're still available for anyone to see, all of my mockumentary builds.
Are these some of the ones that you sent through by any chance? Or,
yeah, so there are some of the ones I sent through.
I'll share my screen actually. We'll have a look.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Don't know. You might have to guide me through to make sure I can show you the right ones, unless they're all because I've got a Friends one, as in like Friends the TV show, not here, but
yes. So this is one of my favorites. So this was my Friends Central Perk. So this one was something that I knew I wanted to do when I bought the set. I managed to get the set on a great deal. So I think I paid almost 40% off price. Like I got it really good price.
Yeah, it did usually good sales. Actually, I did miss out on one recently. I thought about getting a second one. I was like, oh, it's a really good mock pack. Like, it's really good for mocking.
It is a phenomenal set. My goodness me, it's a phenomenal set.
So really good techniques in there as well.
Yeah, because it's got the rug. The way they get that rug in. And curtains. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought about curtains in Lego, and because they've got the curtain at the back. And the angles where the sofa is,
that's right. And you got introduced with those angles and where they built the barista bar as well. So you
it looks amazing.
How they made the
really cool.
I'll go through the pictures, but this as well. This is like a door frame, isn't it? Sideways. Built in sideways.
So it's studs on the side build technique.
Yeah.
So this is the ground floor. So I loved the barista setup so much. So I loved the coffee machine setup so much that is literally lifted from the set.
And I did exactly the same. I made a mock and just took it straight out. Didn't need touching at all. It's perfect as is.
So this element of it, I did not need to touch. As far as I was concerned, perfection was already here. But this was the centerpiece of how I wanted to mock this, and I knew that I wanted to create a 16 by 16 building for a city, and I wanted to challenge myself to do it with just the pieces in the set plus a bulk load of masonry brick that I'd got on a pick-a-brick wall. And so my idea behind this was to use all the colors and all the pieces of the Central Perk set and just chip in with a few of my own pieces.
Okay.
But
it's a radiator down
here. That is from the original build. So the original build. The coffee table straight from the original build. As I said, I wasn't yet at that place where everything was everything of my own. Like I took elements.
Yeah, and still do it now. Like, and even if you're not necessarily just kind of like lifting it and shifting it from a Lego set, you're borrowing techniques from Lego sets. So even if it's looks like different, or it's basically just a recolor of the thing and of something that Lego have done.
But again, it's like techniques you're going to pick up, and you're going to think one day, "Oh, how am I going to fix this?" And you just think, the coffee table. Actually, that's a good idea, and you can maybe tweak it because if I remember, that's built sideways, isn't it? Is that right?
The bricks all go, and it's got it's attached via snot bricks to the surface. One thing before you move on to the next one.
Sorry.
If you look at that, no, not at all. So if you look at that window, you might see it better in the first shot. If you go back to the first one of the front of the build, you'll see it a bit better. So this window here, that piece was in the Fiat 500, and I actually bought it on bits and pieces because I knew I wanted a giant window to let light in. but I didn't want to open a Fiat 500 to do it, so I bought it on Lego Bricks and Pieces.
Because that's right. Okay, yeah. So it's got the studs along the bottom there. Oh, okay. So it is just like really wide. So it just sits straight down on the plate.
Looking at that, thinking, "Where's the frame for that window?"
Yeah. I was trying to figure that out as well.
I didn't sort of quite process that there was one missing.
Phenomenal piece.
There's something.
Yeah. I love that piece
flat,
so
isn't
much.
It? That's a good shout. Okay.
There's no curve at all. It's a completely flat piece. Yeah.
If I can't find any of them on Bricklink or anything, I might have to galvanise
the
take out.
And it came bagged in its own bag, sealed bag.
Okay.
It's factory sealed. So they do bag individually some windows.
Nice.
Good.
Do you know what? I've just seen what the time is. It is 8:55 already. The time is flying.
Yowza.
Shall we switch gears for a moment and we'll have a look at MOCs reviewing? Go to the MOC review section segment, and then we can come back and have a look through more. And we can have a look at some of the techniques you're doing. And this is awesome. Right. So let me find pictures. I've got it all organised to the point where I have to traverse through folders. Okay, so let's start with PolarBrix. Let me share my screen. So shout out to PolarBrix for sending through some photos. And I love this.
This is phenomenal,
isn't it? Just this is for Bricktastic, and it's first time displaying, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
What a way to start! Yeah,
and it's only one of them as well. Apparently, as well. I think they said.
Yeah, because there's more, right?
Yeah.
This is what if you were going to expand the set, because I've got this set. I love this set.
I love this. I think I convinced you to buy this for your birthday present for yourself.
I love this one. Apart from that flipping sticker, it's like
this hair sticker. You know what? I didn't put it on and I've lost it now. So maybe I need to request it.
So I build this. I built this live on Twitch, as I build everything live on Twitch, including sticker applications on Twitch. And I positioned this wrong. And my sticker went all cloudy, and I was so upset because I had to move it because it was misaligned. So I repositioned it, and it went cloudy. And so I heated up the adhesive, and thankfully it's kind of cleared up a little bit now.
So you can.
I might have to give that a go. So I think I've done the same to you.
Don't move the sticker, but you can heat the adhesive up gently. Not too much though. Like you can put it near, get some heat near it, like boil a kettle and just wave it near the steam, and it does melt the adhesive just a little bit to take a little bit.
That's actually a really good tip as well. Yeah.
Steam is a great thing to but just be careful.
I tell you what, that actually
you add moisture into the mix.
As a slight little segue on that, I know they've actually changed the stickers slightly, because I built a set from 2015, I think it was, not that long ago, and they had clear back stickers on there, but they're not sticky like they are for those. So they're still stuck down now, but you're not going to get that horrible white cloudiness, as you said.
Right. Okay.
I just
interesting.
Wonder what I think they changed the recipe.
I guess it must update it over the years. But I love this. And I really like the use of these clouds. They were on the Pebble last year.
So
I don't think I've seen. And you know what? This red light. Also, the movement.
The whole. You can just see them. It's almost like you're just watching like a brief frame from a film, isn't it? With it, because it's like straight into it.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And just the red line as well. Like. It's a great idea just to take a cross section.
It is.
And it's
amazing. And this feels like what the set should have been. This feels like this is what it should have featured. This is what it should have been. In my opinion, it feels like this is the part of the set that they omitted this bit here, because we knew where it came from, we knew the tunnel scene, we knew what it was going to do.
Yeah.
But
And
even
it's
the
got
ones,
the wings coming off
Yeah.
the end at the end
as I
here.
say, they come off really easily. They're designed to like just be pulled off as well, aren't
They
they?
are, aren't they? Yeah.
So,
And then you've got the trans orange pieces that are kind of like the kind of heat igniting inside, so you can see like little bits
Flames.
of the orange flames coming out of the build.
Yeah, and I like the wonky signs there. I've got to go back to the first shot because I really like this.
oh yeah, the
And the
love
curve on the
Really good.
and then goes again off the pad wall. I'm guessing. At least I've got.
Yeah, I've got tons of them.
Yeah.
Tons.
Yeah.
I can see them here. I've got loads.
It was filler, weren't they? It's like, I just need to
Yeah,
get some bits.
Awesome filler. Although
Yeah.
things like
Great
that reminds me of Milky Bar.
Yeah. Because I'm guessing
I'm
these
thinking of white chocolate right now.
caramel
Resist.
is what went through my head, but because I'm wondering if it's like either ball joints or some kind of hinge, right? So there must be like strips of 2 by whatever this is 10, and then
you can kind of
maybe they're like the hinge. I
yeah.
can't think what it's called.
Yeah, it could be. Or
Oh, I know. Have I got one? Yeah. So this sort of piece. Where are you, camera? So this sort of piece here.
The full
The
screen.
modified plate with the. So one of these sorts of things. Maybe then.
the
Yeah.
one with the bar.
Yeah. And you can
Yeah,
maybe do
because I
that.
was also thinking of. Have I got one to hand? I used one the other day. No, I was anyway. Sorry, let me take a full screen. I was looking off to the side. Yeah, like you've got like a bracket almost, and then a plate that hinges up and down. I wondered if it could have been something like that. Hinge bricks. Okay. Cool.
Oh, okay.
Oh, because there's bricks there, right? Okay, but yeah.
Yeah, phenomenal. I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, we'll have a sneaky peek behind the scenes, I reckon. What do you reckon, Mark?
Yeah.
I like the rock work as well.
We're just going to go up and just be like, yeah, we're just going to go and just like get right up close to it and just have a look at all the details.
Yeah, and good rock work as well. It's nice to see it in like a color other than just grey.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this so much. It's so cool.
I remember actually someone talking about rock work, and they're saying the mistake that people make is they use just one color for it, which I'm guilty of as well. But you should actually use. They said real rock has always got highlights of different color, and so maybe just chuck in like a light grey or a dark tan, which is what I've used. So
it's a tough one.
It's dark orange in this. The dark orange,
like the strong.
Is just gives that kind of more. You can visualize where it is a bit better now. You can kind of see the sand work and built into it, and the rock work of there's elements of the reddish clay color coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things with my rock work, I do try and have the accent colors, but usually or quite often, if you've got like a building on top of rock, if you're doing castle, you're going to be using lots of grey. So if you have both of like the building and the rock work, a mix of light and dark grey, you don't necessarily get that distinction between the two. So it's a tricky one. If you're doing rock work and you've got either a different kind of building or on top of it, or enough of a contrast, then absolutely mixing it up. But otherwise, that's the difficulty I've come across, at least. Or no, well, maybe that's just what I'm justifying to myself for what I'm doing. But yeah, that's PolarBrix's build, which that's absolutely fantastic.
Really love that. Really looking forward to seeing what else is going to be on the table as well.
If that's if that's just one of them.
We've been teased now. We can't wait to see.
Yeah,
appetite's been wet. Not just for Milky Bar, obviously. So
this one. I had to put this in. Ranghaal, Ralf Langer. Just like this is just one of many amazing builds that he does.
So you just scroll through this page and it's just stunning.
I have never seen this before, and I can't stop staring at it.
No.
It's amazing, isn't it?
You'll get lost in his page. Honestly, it's just stunning.
But it's the fact that, so I'm guessing from looking at it that this is the earth green used on its side build.
Yeah,
it's side builds of
it
earth
is.
green.
Yeah, and maybe I think black may be in there as well. So yeah, it's like the side build, and then the slopes used to make it round.
It's just,
and in fact, lots of side building to get that shine. Yeah,
the reflection, so it looks like it's water. It looks like you've just got a completely still pond, and the water is just completely still, and that it's just, you're hard pressed at times when you look at this to see it being Lego. Honestly,
this is it. Because the first thing of his I saw was similar to this.
Is that the one
building? It was like 3 of them. Yeah, I think we were looking at it, and because I was showing Gaz the other day, and we just spent like 15 minutes looking at his Instagram page because it was like, oh wow, just everything. And the only reason I chose this is because it's in the Lego house in Billund, because I could have just picked that random.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
But yeah, when I first saw his stuff, I was like, that's not Lego. And it's incredible what it does.
Suspect there's some sort of polishing gone on with the bricks just to make sure there's no fingerprints or whatever on them. But
you must have to, right?
The pledge has come out just to give it a sheen.
Right. The old turtle wax, buff it up a bit.
And even like I love how he's just used quarter rounds for leaves on the trees to mix it up a bit, and the I don't know what they're called, like the slopes, rounded slopes.
1x2 bowed piece with
bowed piece.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I fluff names up of pieces all the time. So some of the Mnrk names for bricks normally cause a laugh amongst people.
What's the tree actually made of, and the trunk?
Work out what I don't know if it's bionicle or something. Actually, it's like thorns, isn't it?
Is it just axe heads actually? So that said, is it just? I can't work out.
Let's have a look. It looks like it's a Technic bit with
it formed a part of the weapon for maybe bionicle, and they've just used it to link together with Technic pins and then just built with multiples of them.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
it's awesome, isn't
natural.
This is natural. It. And the bridge, like just the composition of it as a whole, and the way that he's got these little bits, they're almost like stepping stones, but no, it's just like, I don't know, like that gunk you get on top of. But
it's just like little things as well, isn't it?
On the water.
And this, I love this, like the way it's all kind of like broken down and decayed. He's got different angles going on. Aren't these pieces from the old set as well?
Oh yeah.
I love the woodwork a bit further down where you've got the inverted arch and then the arch to make that semicircular. That's it there.
Yeah.
And you've just got the reverse. Those are palisade bricks.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Kind of tilted inwards. That just looks so good.
It's so imaginative, all of it, and just ridiculously creative.
And to get the detail from the inverse of a piece is so clever. To be able to not just use the piece for its intended purpose, but actually use the underside as decoration. That's next level.
Yeah, that is, isn't
ugly
it?
Side, isn't it? Almost, it's like that you're not meant to see, but But sometimes it's like there's some really interesting bits, like the 1x2 jumper, and you've either got the one with the dot stud, anti-stud bit underneath. Or you've got the bit then it's kind of open, but it's kind of almost got like the two teeth bits in the middle.
Yeah.
So the underside of those is quite interesting. You can kind of use them for a few bits.
And we've seen it, haven't we? Official Lego build using the inverse of those.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the set that has the inverse of jumper plates used in it, but they use the underside of the piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's
what you mean.
The next level. That's making full use pieces, isn't it? When you're not just using the underside of them, and this is for decoration, because who knows how they must have that connected to something as well, presumably, or like some very precarious precise balancing going on.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's like one half built that way, one half built that way, and there's just something behind the scenes connecting it. Maybe.
Oh
Well,
yeah, so on what side? One side at a time, because they're just one
Yeah.
stud off, aren't they, or half a stud maybe?
Yeah.
because you've got those arches, one of the arches and one of the 1x1 rounds built upside down, so they must have a
Yeah.
point of connection, unless they've used a bar between them.
In there, they probably use one of those little bars with the little bar with that thicker bit. But then they've got the. How have they done this? They've got the. Maybe they've just.
I think the
So they've got
inner
that-
bit is a separate piece that's connected internally. So you slide the piece in to the core. So that piece,
Right? Yeah, Right,
so
with
it
this
slides
bit
in
here.
and clips in. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I think
Yeah.
that's how.
And I'm wondering as well if they've got, because I'm wondering if these arches are actually connected, because it's the same arch, just like mirrored basically.
Yeah,
so I wonder if they're even connected and they've somehow got like plunked them on top of each other, and there's something else in the middle of the build that's holding it all together basically.
It could be.
Which is basically there's just so much going on.
Techniques that you could use to connect them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I imagine there's a lot of
sure.
illegal techniques.
So there could be lots of Technic inside or something as well, because you can
do
so much with that, really. Especially when you have the if you have like the main Technic axle. As long as you got one of those, you can kind of have the two, whichever bricks face in any direction. Really,
yeah, you can do all sorts of things, right?
So,
and as long as you've got a point of contention where the two halves meet, they don't have to all be joined. So you see it in Lego builds. So if you're building a bookcase and you're using tiles to build out a bookcase, and you've got a space between the edge and you have another piece that goes in, sometimes you'll have two opposite sides of the tiles butt up against each other but not connect. So, and that's completely fine. So I wouldn't be surprised if a portion of this isn't linked and connected, but it's linked and connected through a central part that then presses and holds them all in place. Maybe that's how it's done.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, and Pobo's just saying, looks like they've doubled the size of the build in a recent Instagram post. Yeah, I think they have. I think that seems to be another thing as well. He kind of builds upon builds that he's done already, and he'll switch things up. And
another one.
Seems to be like a theme that goes through a lot of his builds.
I love it. I love adding bits. Like each year or each time I display a build, I always add some new flourishes to it or change a little thing about it, just because to me then it's got a little element of freshness to it. It's not quite the same.
And well, you learn a new technique sometimes, don't you? And you think, oh, actually, if I use that on that bit, then it will maybe make it look just that little bit better, or it will look a bit more close to how I envisioned it in the first place.
Yeah.
So, really cool.
All right, and I'll come to the last one that has been sent in by yourself, Mark. I'll let you introduce this. Yeah.
This is excellent.
So this is from Keith Reed's Flickr page. So you can find rebreakable instructions. They're not by Keith, but inspired by Keith. And the rebreakable does call out that the original design, the rebreakable's got some slight variations, but the inspiration is by Keith. So this is Keith Reed, and Keith's Flickr is where you can see all this. Like Flickr, it's just absolutely.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's very good post-apocalyptic stuff. All of it's got some fallout as well, and
it's perfect for that kind of post-apocalyptic look. This is where I got the inspiration to build modulars from and get started using my own pieces. This is where I drew the inspiration from, because none of this is the original pieces.
Okay.
It's the original look. We all can see that it is the diner, but it's not built using the pieces for the diner. And so this was where I'm thinking, well, I can do something like that and use my own pieces, because not a lot of these pieces are going to be hugely rare, or you know, they're going to be pieces that would have come in other sets, and I probably have them to hand.
Oh, that's a good
I
Look at
know.
that. Sorry, I was wondering what this piece was. That's amazing. So that's
Yeah.
That's
like
the
the
1
hinge
by
piece
2.
with that
Yeah.
bar.
The 1 by 2 hinge.
And that's
piece,
upside down
yeah.
as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
that's got. So then those are the inverted like round bits.
Oh,
I've got some.
Or the
behind me.
boat studs, they're called. I don't know. They call them. Boat
Yeah,
studs.
they put them underneath like Star Wars builds and stuff to keep the bottom together, right?
So how's
That's
that?
really cool.
Oh, now it's all connected though. Oh.
So he's connected. That's a 2x2 round. That's connecting the bar piece to there. Oh, then he must have invert.
Oh,
Is this all upside down here?
That piece in the center, that's a
tile.
1 by 2 with that ratchet piece on the side.
Yeah.
So it's
And that must be
connected in,
upside
so-
down as well, right?
Yeah,
Because this looks like
yeah.
it's a tile piece here.
Yeah.
So then there's something going on somewhere else to flip it around the right way around, because that's placed the right way. So there must be something going on here to flip it around somehow. Or is
could be like a bracket piece, because you could just, you had a bracket, then you could just sort of connect it into like maybe a reverse headlight or something, potentially.
Because that's
the
right way up.
Yeah, but you can definitely see from this build how we all can see instantly it's the diner.
Yeah.
But
Oh god. Yeah.
none of it is the pieces for the diner. And this is where I got the idea for using different colors from, because if you pitch the diner, it had the pink, it had the teal, it had those, you know, beautiful pristine windows, the American diner look inside, and it was all very bright and very colorful, and one of the most colorful modulars in terms of
it is, isn't it?
used. It's a very bright and very colorful modular, and yet what we have here is still a very, very, very good representation of the diner, just done in a completely raw, dirty, weathered, broken, you know, display, which still
I love this
so much of the diner's kind of picturesque.
It
does. There's little snippets of
zombie,
color.
right?
Yeah, I was going to say, like echoes of the original color scheme in it, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's like really, really.
And I love how the teal has been switched out for sand green, so it's still got the green, but it's weathered. So you know that it's the original. It's the original teal. It's just old and weathered, and this is just one is my favorite one. But Keith has done most of the modular builds in this same style. And I think PolarBrix called it out. It's the broken glass.
Because I remember seeing this on Reddit when you sent this over. I was like, this guy, cool. Now I can go and see all of his other stuff. Like, the broken glass. That's so cool. It's simple as well, right? It's just like
just 1x2 clear bricks and cheese slopes,
headlight brick,
and that's the
highlight,
the headlight brick in trans clear.
There and they had them on the pub wall. I've seen got a load of them, which is
I think I picked up those.
I've been using them this week actually. I was like, thank God I picked them up. They were sort out. But that's actually they're surprisingly deceptively simple, but it's so effective. This broken glass.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess that's the original
as well.
Yeah, nice. I really like how the signs falling down.
Yeah.
You almost expect it to say Red Rocket rather than Diner, though, don't you?
One of them, you have to check the Flickr page. One of them actually has a Fallout banner on it.
Does?
He's got the
custom tire with a Fallout on it.
Oh,
so
good.
There's
a Nuke Solar truck and stuff as well. He's done proper Fallout builds as well as all of the modular. So he's got this is zombie apocalypse by the looks of it, and then he's got Fallout. I really need to do a post-apocalyptic build. This is
the thing is, I knew you'd like it, Ollie, because obviously it draws on a similar aspect to how you designed yours and how you went from having a family to just family isn't there anymore, and yet you've just got this remnant of house in the you've just got overgrowth all around it and tombstones and things all
Yeah, it's
around. Just
that
it's
thing
really
of like man versus nature. I'm really enjoying that theme. Like, I love that theme of man versus nature. Like with this, buildings being destroyed by time and weather and zombies. Which is that man or nature or both? But yeah,
super nature.
Keep it in the
nature.
comments.
super nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really cool. And we will jump into more about like the style they've taken from it. We'll look at a quick technique that we saw the other week, and do a quick look at that and figure out if we can use it anywhere else. But yeah, we'll come back to how this has inspired you and your building. Because it is amazing. And for anyone, go find Keith Reed on Flickr and everyone else on here, at ranghaal on Instagram, and PolarBrix also on Instagram. There's links in the description for the YouTube video, so for this stream. So please do go check them out, because
definitely
they're all amazing. And I'll just stop sharing a second so you don't see the state of my computer while I find the technique. And it's it's a nice simple one, but could be very effective. See you later, Greg. London Bridge Bricks. Thanks for jumping
See you
in.
later, Greg.
Share screen. So this is just to be able to get flush cheese slopes, 1x1 cheese slopes. So if you're just using snot bricks, 1x1 snot bricks, you can't get flush with the with these 1x1 cheese bricks, which I have been finding. I'm building a wave at the moment using loads of these pieces, and kind of works in my favour actually, because water being choppy and all that. But there were points where it's like, I would like them to be flush, and there's a way to do it. By using a combination of headlight bricks and snot bricks, all 1x1. You can, and 1x1 plates. You can then combine them all to get a nice smooth edge of the 1x1 cheese slopes. And it looks like it'd be really effective. I did have a bit of a play with it just to be like, just make sure this actually works. And like nice and smooth. You can use it for all sorts of things, I imagine. Like a roof is like the obvious use.
When I see this, I see a different style of imagine building a modular build that opens on the 45 and having it come open, and the floor, you build up the floor and have the two halves come together, but instead of opening up like a book, it opens up at the 45-degree angle and comes apart. So then you've got two triangular build styles, and it's just something. See, when I saw that, that's the first thing that came into my mind, is having a build that opens differently. And just
nice.
Together.
But that's really cool.
It's good for those of things, isn't it, as well, like that? Because I mean, how many times when you've made like slopes in Lego with like those sorts of pieces, and it's always got the step, and it's like, okay, you just have to, it's like,
just look at it from a distance.
And it's like, but actually,
you could do things like roads. I wonder if you could use it for roads as well. Maybe like having your roads going at an angle. You might have to do some work to cover up the studs here. Put some plants in it or something.
Oh, of course, you can do especially like the new road plates as well, because we still haven't got a curve in those at all. So,
but you could do a 45-degree angle. That would be cool.
I wonder if you could do it. So you could obviously do it with the like. Could you do it? I was going to say you could do it with 1x2 plates, cheese slopes, but maybe not, because the headlight brick's got this ridge underneath it.
Yeah, so I think it's half a plate.
It's got a little gap under there, isn't it? Yeah. Is it half? Yeah.
It's half a plate between the Lego's so fascinating. Everything's done in segments. So believe it's half a plate between a snot brick and the indented part of the headlight brick. So that's why when you put
Yes.
a tile on a headlight brick, it's
And this
it's
bit here.
a plate and a half. It comes out a plate and a half.
Yeah, and I think there's something to do with a third of a plate is this bottom ridge here
Yeah,
of a headlight
it
brick.
always works.
yeah,
I believe that's the thing. It's yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's how it works.
Which I
Pretty
guess
sure.
actually, and this will lead us into you guys, because I believe you've modified or found a similar technique to make it actually better. Because what I did find was when I did this is that you might not be able to use it for a roof so easily, because you get this ridge where there's that little bit at the bottom of the headlight brick basically creates a gap between. So if you did multiples of these and stacked them on top of each other,
Oh, you're going to have that tiny gap between the two.
yeah, exactly. So then you've got to figure out how to fill that in, which Gaz has done.
Yes. And it's
Are you good?
literally. I will be, if you bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just waiting for studio because it's doing its usual funness.
But yeah, that is a bit of a pesky thing that I found with from the 5-10 minutes I had to play with it, was this bit along the bottom, and trying to figure out, if using this technique, trying to figure out how to do it. I suppose you could use it for like is it the gables? Is that what's called of a house? Like the front bit, if you did the triangle, so you could have it just one brick thick. And
I mean, you could use this for all sorts. So think about turning it on its side and then having one either side. You could make like a small mountain diorama, because then you could have like a plate on the front. You could have like a 1x2 and then have like a 2x2 on the front, have them stand up and facing forwards, and have there's tiles on the front in different colors to kind of make. Because when I saw that, I thought that's half of Mount Fuji, and that turn it up on its front and then put a mirror image on the other side, and then have that all in dark bluish grey, and then have the 1x2 in white on the top two studs, and then have a dark bluish grey 2x2.
Oh, nice. See, yeah, this is why it's good to have different points of view, because I would never have thought of that. Yeah.
Right, is it going to let me do it? Right, if I think it's going to let me.
I shall stop sharing.
Yeah, if I do, oh come on, you doesn't seem to like my screen, but there you go. Right, do that. Share. Did that work? No. For some reason, I'm looking at it, and every time I'm clicking on studio, it's jumping off.
We're waiting. We're like, we can't wait.
Keeping us in suspense here, guys.
Right, share. It could be the mouse I'm using. I did change it the other day. Oh, right, hang on. Right, okay, cool. So, is this working okay? Yeah. So, as you can, so I've actually done it here. So you've got, so this one here is the modified plate. So that's the 2x2. Can I take it out a second? So it's this one. If you can see that one. So it's just.
So it's like
two. Yeah.
So so it's one of those. And I've got the headlight brick here. Here I've got one of those new 2 plate high 1x1s. So, but you could use just 1x1s or 2x2, 1x2 plates. And then I've got another one then of these ones here with, is that a normal brick? Yeah, and a normal brick there. I'm pointing there, you can't see what I'm doing now. And then you can just have the cheese slopes here, and it's all fine. And this is, so if I do that,
because then that means, oops, sorry.
Then it's so it's nice and smooth. Then so you can see that when it all goes down. So
and you could have multiple of them next to each other, right? Because that's the 1x2 e-slope, and it goes right to the edge, and it gets rid of that gap, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, then you will get a bit at the top, but I mean, in theory, you could just repeat that technique over and over and keep going up, really. So, yeah, I was quite chuffed that it worked, and I was like, oh, okay, how am I going to get it that way around instead? So,
and that piece is an awesome piece as well. That's the 2x2 with a 1x2 plate on one side, and then 2 snot bricks. That's loose snot.
So useful because you can use one of those and a normal snot brick, and then you get the one where you can actually then just fit a normal brick on it. So, you know, it's the right sort of width then for an actual normal brick to fit on if you wanted to then go that way and that way. Two ways at once.
So clever.
So, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, no, I love these pieces. I love how much Lego have expanded the catalogue of pieces, and so we've got all these different ways to build.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the snot pieces especially are like, snotting. Or just everything. Snot, hinges, clips and bars is what I've been loving lately, and the range you get with that.
Yeah.
PolarBrix is digging for those bricks now.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you ever thought what to use them for, because you've also got the one. I don't know if I have any close by. I don't think so. I'm just looking now to see if I do. I don't know if I do, but you've got the similar ones to what you were talking about, Gaz. But you've got the ones that are a 2x4 with a 1x4. So they're, but it's only has, it might actually be a 2x6, and then you've got 4 studs along the front and a 1x4 in front of it. They use it in vehicles quite a lot. That's it's in a larger scale. I've used that for a few things. That's fun.
Yeah,
because are they
offset
at all? Those I've got. I haven't got hand. Yeah, okay, I know what you mean there. Yeah, because it's 2x6 plate, isn't it? Basically, with 1x4 on top. But for some reason, I had it in my head that they were offset slightly, but I don't think they are they? The four snot bricks. I think they're just.
They're just either side. I know what you mean. It's like almost like they're. I don't think.
Yeah.
I just don't think I've
but I haven't really played about with them. It's just in, Tigay April saying, imagine a ruined spooky boutique hotel.
Just have a hallway with just 2 figures at the end of it.
But you don't even need to imagine it because he has done it. It's on his Flickr, so go and check it out.
He's done that one as well. That'd be good.
Cool. Yeah, do go check all of that out.
Yeah.
Cool. I was going to check the poll that I thought I'd put up, but it looks like it didn't actually go up. So we'll do it next week because it seemed like a good time to. And I was like, okay, it's just been sat there, not saying it could be created. Yeah.
So we've got some techniques there. Have you had to do any particular techniques for your builds, Mark, when you've had to maybe make substitutes for bricks that aren't in your parts bin? Because I think, am I right thinking there's some parts in Cafe Corner that maybe are quite rare and super expensive, so you'd have to find an alternative?
Yeah. So I don't know, Ollie, if you can bring up the picture of Cafe Corner.
I have it here, ready to go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great.
So obviously I said before about how there are only certain amount of pieces. So the wheel arch pieces on the top floor that are used, so the wheel arches are actually used for the awnings. Yeah. And the pieces you're supposed to have, the 1x2 triangular piece. You're supposed to have that in the center. So I just did 2 cheats. So the angle's wrong. The angle isn't actually the angle is a completely different angle because that piece has a more upwards degree than a cheese slope.
Yeah, and it meets the bottom where it comes right down to the bottom of the.
Yeah, that's right. And you can see as well how I've taken the wheel arch piece, and if you look very carefully, only 3 out of 5 of them are the same. Again, you have to look. Deception wise, you won't see it. So you've got the 2 on the left and 1 on the right, and the other 2 are different.
So these 2 are the same, right? So because they're longer, and then that one's shorter, that one's longer.
Yeah.
Put a little bit extra on the bottom there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You would never have known had I not said.
No, absolutely, yeah. And so I suppose we should backtrack a little bit and say that the name of the style this is a junk building, right?
Yeah. So I learned this recently. So I just used to always say it's just built using my own pieces. So the story behind Cafe Corner, which has the name Rainbow Cafe Corner because of the awning. is that it cost me 0. Every single one of these pieces I had in my collection at the point of starting this build. So that's why things aren't perfect. That's why the colors don't completely match. The purpose behind it was to bring back the build with what you've got style of building that was common for the original generations, when you just had a box of bricks and you had all of these pieces and you thought, well, what can I do with all of these pieces? And actually, you've got an entire catalogue of free instruction manuals from Lego dating back many, many years. You don't need those sets to build with the instructions. So Lego offer, and they offer the Lego Builder app. You can grab the digital instructions, tip your box of bricks out, dig through, and see what you can make from it. And if you don't have those pieces, it doesn't matter, because actually, because Lego has a modular style build style, everything's measured. So we know that one brick is 3 plates high. So if you don't have the brick, but you have the plates, you can stack 3 plates to make the brick. So it's more part usage, but when you are only limited to what you've got in front of you, it gives you an opportunity to be creative. The rainbow awning, there's tiles that I didn't have in 1x2. So what I've done is I've used some round ones to kind of give the illusion that there's some slight tears in it. So it's been redesigned. It's been redesigned. There's a story behind it that I always present at conventions, and the synopsis of it is, and it's mainly for kids, but it's inspiration for adults and anyone who wants to hear it, is that the Rainbow Cafe Corner, originally the owners, it was a rare set. Obviously we know it's a rare set, it costs a lot of money. So the premise behind the story is the building is quite an old building now, and it would cost far too much to replace it. Therefore, the owners had no choice but to shut it down, because they couldn't afford the pieces to build it back up to what it used to be. And that is in reference to some of the sloped roof pieces, because they're just too expensive. That's why the set is so expensive, because they are rare, not available in that exact color. So the idea behind this was that the town that this was based in, which again doesn't matter, the whole point of it is that it's built around a story, is that the residents came together, grabbed all resources from all over, like scrap resources, things they could find, junk things they could find, and helped to rebuild it. And therefore the bottom cafe corner portion become the Rainbow Cafe Corner, because it was a community cafe that was rebuilt by the town, and it meant that they were able to restore and save the building, and now it belongs to the town. And the premise of the story was that this didn't cost a penny to make. It literally did not cost a penny extra from what I already had. And it was just as an inspiration to people to say, you can build these builds using just what you've got. It doesn't matter that the colors aren't exact. You can still make something work. The first floor windows, they're all odd colors. It doesn't matter. It's cohesive. It still works. When you look at it, its imperfections makes it perfect, because actually when you look at buildings in real life, not everything's symmetrical and perfect.
There's always something, isn't there, with actual buildings? I think the wheel arches actually in the top are actually a really good example, because I'm sure I've seen a good couple of buildings, and they've done something similar in that they've got all these bits are the same, and then there's one that's not, and it's always the same, because they've, as you say, it's been replaced over the years. And one of the affected things in the real world is changing from imperial to metric. So it's like it's going to be slightly out, or in some cases it's going to cost you a lot more to get it exact. So maybe you'll find a substitute. So it's kind of reflective of real life in that respect as well, which I think is really good in it as well.
And that was the thing.
Oh, sorry, go for it.
All I was going to say in the end of that is, and that's the reason why I did it for is because when you have young children come up and they're drawn in by the color and they're asking questions about it, I have a story on an A4 piece of paper just next to it, and they're able to read this story that I told you guys. Obviously I abbreviated some of it, but the story goes into a lot more detail. But the premise of it is exactly the same. It's just like, this was built from a box of bricks that you've got at home, that you've probably got in a drawer, and you have no inspiration to build with them at the moment. You just want to buy the next set, and yet you've got all these pieces waiting to be used to build something magnificent. But because you haven't taken that step to go, it's okay to be imperfect in building it, and take that kind of risk to go, do you know what, I can actually make something from this. And some of the best junk builds are just from what you've got, and the creativity that comes with the pieces that you have. And it's so much fun to build with the pieces that you've got. And when you meet a hurdle or a challenge, if that piece isn't available, then going through and saying, how can I make this work? Can I use this piece instead of this piece? I can stack 2 studs and then put a stud at the top to offset that beam. So now it's 1 stud higher than it needs to be. But instead of having it floor to ceiling, I've now offset it by 2 studs at the bottom, 1 at the top. Can I mirror that to make it a feature across the whole build? And then something you probably wouldn't even know the build. It does take longer, but it's just costs nothing to make.
Yeah, and that's so that's kind of, there's a beauty that lies in that, right? It's like the adaptation, on like overcoming hurdles and adversity and all that. And I was going to ask, does that kind of resonate with people that you've spoken to at the shows? Do you know if like people were like, oh, okay, cool, I could go and build something like this? Do you know if it's like inspired people to go and be like, right, cool, I can go build my own cafe corner now, or Brickbank? Do you see that? Because I imagine that this is almost probably more inspirational than a lot of other MOCs. Because, like you say, people have probably got a lot of these pieces already, and they're readily, if not, they are readily available, or you can use pieces that are
exactly. But it doesn't have to cost you nothing, Ollie. Like you can. You can buy bricks for this. The idea is that you're just building what you've got. I choose to challenge myself because these are expensive modular buildings. I cannot afford to buy a modular building for an aftermarket price, but doesn't mean I can't experience the build technique that goes with it. But in answer to your question, yes, there was one individual, and it was when I was at Reading, and it sticks with me. And he came along and he was with, I think, his nephews, and so he was looking at the build, and his nephews were looking at it, and he was looking at it also, and it went away, and then circled back round, and then I think went away again, and then came back a final time and asked if he could take one of the pages, because he found the story was so inspirational, it almost brought him to tears, because it was just like, he loved the story behind it. He loved the fact that there was, such a wholesome story, and that he could take this away and, potentially tell the story to his family and get them inspired to build again. But it inspires people. Like, a lot of people draw the diversity side from the Rainbow Cafe. So the idea behind it is there is no idea behind it. It's just a nice expression of bright colours. But what I love about it is it can mean whatever it wants to mean to whoever it wants to. So I've had people look at that cafe and see it as a LGBTQ plus inclusive cafe. Absolutely. Like, it is an inclusive cafe for everybody. Like, it is there for anyone to use. Minifigures, mini dolls, anyone. And the idea behind it is that it just creates this community that everyone clubs together, and there's no door. The reason behind there's no door is because no one is shut out from the cafe. Everybody can come in. There isn't a barrier to stop people from going through.
Not even an open door policy, a no door policy.
And that's the thing. And I had another an awesome awesome person that came and made themselves known to me at Didka and also at Steam as well. And they've said that they are going to go away and try and build one in this style themselves. So they've been inspired to do it themselves, to build their own one. And I can't wait to see the pictures.
Yeah.
And have you had to adapt much? I'm not sure. Have you followed exactly in interiors, or have you adapted them for mini dolls a bit more as well? Because I know they're primarily the attendees.
Yeah. So for the most part, so the interior of the Rainbow Cafe Corner, none of it matches. It's all completely unique in interior. The brick bank, which was the other one that you showed, Ollie, that one has the ground floor and the first floor. Those interiors are loosely based, so they have the structural look because those had an interior. Cafe Corner also had an interior, but it was very basic in its look.
Right.
This time, it was there was no tiling; it was all stud interior floors, and it had pieces around. But what I did was embellished, and I love that word embellish. It's build the build, then embellish, add bits to it, add cohesive bits of color to it to try and draw it together, because that's the bit that you kind of get at the end that draws everything in.
It ties it all together as well, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Like the brick bank, I cannot tell you when I've built these how many times I've looked at it and gone, it doesn't work. And yet you add one piece, and that one piece just completely makes everything cohesive.
So was there a piece like that on the brick bank, for example? And if there is, can you remember which bit it was?
Yeah, so if you zoom in for me, Ollie. Yeah, of course. So if you zoom in, and if you can go up a bit towards the upper floors for me, the central part there. So where you've got on the so if you move your cursor to the that's it, where those two gold fences are. Piece. Yeah, so that there, there. So that center part, where you've got the columns, and above the columns you've got that upside down bowl piece. That there is all unique.
Oh, okay.
I could not. There wasn't anything. So the original build has something completely different there. I could not get that look in the original. I didn't have the pieces, so I decided that instead of making it original, I was going to make it my own. And actually, where your cursor was just there, Ollie, is actually a curved window. And so I decided to add an extra window at a semi-separate level, and then add an embellishment underneath it. That's a 2x2 white plate with the hole.
This here, like the gravestone style.
And then the bowl upside down is the embellishment on the underside of it, and above there you've got two white wedge plates, and then you've got the curved window, and that filled that gap in. It drew more light in, but that's completely original. That isn't part of the original build.
That's really cool.
But no one, you'd never know, and that's what I love about this. You would never be able to tell that was an original piece.
No, why not?
And how?
That's really cool.
When on the subject of diversity, like how do you build it into your MOCs? Like how does that play into your building your style or just into Lego for you?
So with every build that I make, I always try and think about making inclusivity fundamentally part of it. So it's how can I ensure, so that, maybe I think about it more than I need to, but at the end of the day, I picture the people that are at the table, and if they are a figure, if they're a minifig or a mini doll, in their current situation, however it may be, would they be able to walk around in this and enjoy it fully? If the answer is yes, then I've done it right. If the answer is no, then how can I change it? How can I put in a slope so that a wheelchair accessible character can come in? And so that's what I try and do. Everything is level, and where it's not level, there's only slight graduation so that a wheelchair is able to get in. So where possible, the doors are wide enough for the wheelchair piece to go in. And so this is a great segue into this. So this is completely original. So this is completely my own. No instructions. Everything was built from my imagination. And so Friends Square. So this is Friends Square. So this is my original vision. And I think I sent you an image, Ollie, which was the inspiration behind this. And it's the one where I've got like 2 or 3 sets, Lego Friends sets on a base plate. Yeah, that was the original inspiration behind that. That's where this concept. So I've always had in my mind to have a modular Friends city that's built up and full of life and colour. But every build has accessibility first and foremost. So if you zoom into the toy shop, you will see that there is a wheelchair accessible entrance, and we've got the character ready to go in. It's at one level, and there's distance between each of the stalls where that wheelchair could fit. So it's thinking about.
You know what? That is such a thing. Like, sorry, going. So my wife uses a wheelchair occasionally, and going around some shop is a nightmare. So I love that you've taken that into account.
And it's those sorts of things, because actually, you know, you don't know who is going to be at your table. You don't know who you will inspire by your builds. You don't know who is that next person you're going to have a conversation with and the story that they're going to tell. And believe me, as having displayed, it's one of the most humblest things you can ever experience, because everybody has a story. And the idea behind this is that people can draw those stories. They can look at this and then they can draw from it their own story. And so those sorts of things I thought about, and I let people know I've thought about that. You know, I've thought about that, because children will ask, their innocent mind will ask you. They'll be like, how does the wheelchair get upstairs in the pizza restaurant? Because there is a wheelchair user upstairs. And I said, and I'd explain to them that the build itself is only just a section of the pizza restaurant, and actually there's a ramp on the where you can't see where it's been cut away. There would be a ramp accessible to the first floor so that the wheelchair can get up, as well as small things like that, so that children can then visualize, oh, they didn't fly. They didn't, that wheelchair didn't fly to the first floor. There was a way for them to get there. And it's small things like that. It's just trying to make sure that when you have a child ask those questions, I've already thought about the answer. I already know the reason.
Nice.
So, and it's those small things, because ultimately these displays are at the level of a child's eye.
Yeah.
And so the children are the ones that are at that perfect level to be able to just look inside and pick out all those details. And so that's the main focus behind it. And the diversity, what I draw from it, is to make sure that there's a representation of race, gender, and accessibility. Always.
And can the modulars you've done, can they all connect to this as well, to the Friends Square, or is that the ultimate aim
now
thing? Okay, they can.
They can do now. So this is on a 48 by 48 base plate. And it will look exactly the same at the next show, because I've changed it. So it's now on a 32 by 32, and then the back 3 buildings are all on 16 by 16 meals plates, and the pizza restaurant is on a 16 by 32 meals plate, and so they all link together. So aesthetically, it will look exactly the same. The advantage now is that because the plaza has the Technic pins on there, I can attach the meals plates of each of the modulars to then link into this as well. So you can configure it and change it so that it can work.
That's really
nice.
Cool. So that's really good. Building up my city almost now that you can show off as well. So.
And this is it. And what I love about it is the idea is that this is a foundation to build on. So this build style, so the next show, I might add a 16 by 32 extension to the plaza, and then add another 16 by 16 building next to the Friends Cafe. I don't need to do anything more, because it's changed. It's completely changed the look of it. I could swap the toy shop around with the diner, because they're modular.
Yeah.
So I can change the look of it and make it work and add own little bits in. I can omit the pizza restaurant and stick Rainbow Cafe Corner in instead.
Okay.
And then just have another building
cool.
onto the side. So it has a lot of customization with it. Now it's modular.
Nice.
And so modular wise, then you've got that you've taken to the shows. We've got Cafe Corner and the Brick Bank, and obviously Bricktastic is coming up.
Number three.
Number
that
three,
nobody has seen. That nobody has seen. I've shown nobody outside of. I've shown nobody what I've done so far.
I shall load up some pictures.
This is the exclusive Bricktastic build. Exclusive view of the new Bricktastic build that is going to be in Manchester in a couple of weeks.
Let me share this.
And you've been working on this one then since Christmas, isn't it? Or since the new year, I should say. So.
Yeah, since Christmas. So, friends, this is the detective's office. This is my interpretation of the detective's office rebuilt using just my pieces. This is just the outside of it. The interior is done and it will be completely done in thing. But I got this ready for Gaz and for Ollie, so that they could show there's a lot of embellishment and bits and pieces that have finished this all off. But I'm keeping that for the show because this here, what you're looking at, is literally. I placed the last piece, took a photo, and sent it. All the interiors are now done. All of the rooftop is now done. There is embellishments on the front of the build now. There will be flower baskets, and there will be other bits of embellishments. And I was really nervous. Thank you, Eek. I was very, very nervous of the color scheme for this one. And I was nervous.
I love the color scheme.
Yeah, I was going to say it really stands out. It's really good.
The yellow, I knew I wanted to bring yellow into this build. And originally, and Gaz will know because Gaz was my kind of soundboard for how things looked. The owl sign originally was in tan, not white, because I could not find 1x1 white plates because, as I said, I spent £0 on this. That was in tan. And it just didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't feel right. It just didn't look right.
It pops nicely there, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I knew that I wanted to get that blue and white look of owls, but then I wanted something to contrast the blue, and what better to contrast the blue than the yellow? Owl shot pops out a lot. That's awesome. I'm so pleased. But the hardest piece to find, and again, thank you, Gaz, for your help on this one, was the 4x4 domes that are in the detective's office. So those yellow domes, Gaz, bless him, went through every set that have domes in, and between it, we found the one set that I had that had those domes in, which was a Mixel. They're actually part of the Trumpet Mixel character.
That one is Cheeks, isn't it? Yeah. That's right.
And I had that one. So I have those pieces. So I was able to complete it.
That was the trumpet one, wasn't it? Was that the one with the trumpet?
It was the trumpet one.
That's
The
they're nice proper colour. It does go nicely with the rest of the. But first off, I love the colour scheme of it. It's really nicely refined. Like you can almost see the transition words are very, but the transition with Friends, like the Friends theme and how the colour palettes refined over time.
That's true actually.
It's really you got the brown here, the yellow is really nice with the white masonry and the accent colours, and the blue, white, and yellow. It looks awesome with bits of gold.
Really nice, isn't it? The combo. Really love it.
Yeah, it's really refined. It was really nice. I love it's got an alleyway as well. I love.
Yeah, and this is it. And I wanted this. So I asked people at Steam. I asked people what they wanted me to do next, and unanimously, It was the detective's
okay.
office. Now,
Uh,
hand on heart, the detective's office wouldn't have been my first choice. However,
Okay.
now I can see why. The build is amazing. It is such
Okay.
a fun build. And inside the ground floor, you have a pool table, and on the pool table,
yeah.
you've got the 1x1 tiles used as the pool balls. And then off to the side, you'll have the pool cues. I haven't got them in there because I'll add them at the event because obviously they're loose. But you've got the newsstand outside, and that lifts
Yeah.
up, and there's newspapers on the inside as well. It actually lifts
Oh,
up.
nice.
That's a nice idea.
And I got to use the dark red, and I got to use the dark tan for the tiling in front of ours as well.
Yeah, that's really nice. Nice combo, that.
Dark red's such a great color as well.
It's a beautiful color. I love it so much.
It's underused, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is.
Say,
so,
yeah.
The one thing that I wanted to bring into this build was the green earth green masonry brick. So I knew my inspiration was from the British pub and the classic look of earth green and gold. But I knew that if I would have done just green and gold, it would have been a very dark, very kind of, it would have kind of sucked away some of the light of the set. So I wanted to bring in the white just to tie it in. So have a band of green at the bottom, band of green at the top, and then have the white going around. And the interior as well. Like I said, you can't see the interior because I've done that for Bricktastic, but I will.
You keep yourself, keep up on your poster and all that.
I was going to say I can't give you everything. Give me this.
I really like as well how you've got it. Like it's not just like nice from the front, and then as with a lot of my builds, nice from certain angles and an absolute mess.
Yeah, guilty.
I had to make it nice on the sides because the way that my builds are displayed, as you saw with the brick bank, is on their own. Now, I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to connect the three of these modular buildings together for Bricktastic yet, because Cafe Corner and then the brick bank and then this one in the middle would work. It would work.
Yeah.
And also, I didn't know this, but I'm super happy. The tan and the white match the brick bank, and the yellow matches the cafe corner. So the build, this build has the color elements of both of the previous ones in it to make a cohesive build.
That's actually quite good. That's really good. Oh my gosh. That does it really good.
So good.
and there's like texture. So the front of the detective's office on the I know that I love
that you got stars. That's the I've got so many of these little stars. I don't know what to do with them, and I love that you've put them in there. I thought they were the gold leaves at first, and I was nicely surprised to see
and I tried using gold leaves, but because I got so inspired with Alberto's build, and I tried using gold leaves, but it just didn't quite work. It didn't have that finished look. The stars finished it, but the front of the ground floor by where the domes are. Yeah, so you can see the pillars at the front there. The original build uses the the brown Technic tubes, and then connects with a ball joint at the top into a ball socket. I didn't have those pieces, so instead I used the half round 1x1s.
Oh yeah,
and then I used the snot bricks on the outside edge because I loved the look. I loved
that's really cool
texture that gave. Because when you look into the alley, it's not just a wall. There's texture and detail, and I wanted to bring something a little bit different in with that as well.
Yeah, I really like the original as well for having this alleyway here. Like it's not something you see very often at all.
This is one. No, isn't this one of the ones that's actually the rear of the building is actually a lot better as well, because they're quite. I find a lot of them now are quite flat, and that's kind of it. But like,
I'll tell you what, if you make me full screen, I'll show you the back of the build, because I didn't take a photo of the back of the build, but I can show you the back of the build.
Oh.
I'll give you a sneaky peek at the back.
Oh.
How about that?
Let's get rid of that banner for a second. Yeah, I love the.
It's so much better, isn't it? Because you've got like the sloped roof there at the back, and you've got slight texture as well. So different depths as well with the buildings.
Yeah,
because like different heights, and depth, and like every building's got different depth, right? Like every section of it. A lot, the roof's got the like the water tower in it as well, which is really cool.
The water tower. So that water tower. So that water tower is actually, I can't show you too much more because otherwise I'll reveal the bits that I've changed on it. I'll keep a little bit of a surprise.
You got to keep something.
But the water tower is supposed to be 1x3 tiles, but I don't have 1x3 tiles, so I just made it 1x4, and it works just as well. You'd never know.
Is it white on the original one, the water tower? I can't remember what colour it is.
It's brown. It is big in brown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it is.
The whole thing, including a dish on the top, that's in brown. But the one colour I had that dish in was the yellow, and I was like, perfect. But the interior of that.
Again. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so you can see. I mean, look, it's a beautiful set, and look at that earth green dome.
Yeah, okay. It's got the earth green and gold combination. Is that what you're talking about? That's inspired the rest of it. Cool, nice. Yeah, because I haven't. Well, I have seen this in person actually. I saw it in person on the weekend, but I haven't appreciated it properly in person. Or like appreciated it properly because it retired. I think long before I got into watching this or into NERK.
Didn't this go when Assembly Square first came out? Didn't it go around then? Or
I think so. But yeah, those dome pieces, if you're looking to build this for yourself, those dome pieces, that you can get them, the most recent set that you can get them in is the White Rabbit. You can get them in white. But other than that, they're quite hard to find. They're not in too many sets. And there's very few elements that you can get that will create that look. And I had so the original concept I showed Gaz, I had a dish on top of it, and then another dish, and so it created this kind of scalloped dome, but it wasn't right.
It didn't fill the archways as well, did it? Because
no, it didn't.
No,
if that was all I had, that would have been what I went with. But thankfully, we went through and found what I did.
That's good work.
It's and also I don't ever discredit from the original modulars. Like that's where I drew the inspiration from. And I with my brick bank, I had the most amazing compliments because the color scheme is so cohesive with the tan and the white and the gold. I had several people tell me that they loved it better than the original. And
nice.
That is the highest form of flattery. Is for somebody to say that they preferred mine over the original. But there was one other story. Really cool. Just going back very briefly to what you were saying about the inspiring somebody else. There was a couple at Steam that were so inspired. And this wasn't enabling, I assure you. They were so inspired by the modular builds that they bought Assembly Square to go and do it themselves.
Oh, actually, at the show?
Nice.
They bought Assembly Square.
Oh, my God.
And they bought that so that they could rebuild it in a style like mine.
Because you can use Assembly Square to go and do all of them. But sorry, not to take away from that's an awesome...
But there's enough pieces in there to rebuild so much. But they drew inspiration from me. So that set being taken home, being built, being enjoyed, and being rebuilt into something more was inspired by
you started to mock yourself.
Yeah.
And it's just like those sort of things happen at every show. There's always those moments, and it's just it makes every hour that it takes to put these things together and stress about how this is going to work and how am I going to get a plate that's 7 studs across to fill this gap because I don't have this. It makes it all worth it because people see it and they recognize it and they're like, is that the brick bank? Is that a version of the brick bank? And it's just like, yeah, that's the version of the brick bank.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's good as well, though.
Elements in it.
People, I suppose, when you see anything like that as well, there'd be something on it that everyone will take away from it, not physically. Yes, you won't have any builds left, but
no,
there'd be
I'll take anything from my builds.
But like you've done with like the stars, that someone might look at that and be thinking, do you know, I've got so many of those, and that's such a good idea to use them as a piece of decoration on the building or something like that. So someone will just sort of take that idea and then they'll run with it and do goodness knows what
I've
else
seen
with it
people
as well.
use it on floors, like they do tiles. They use them as tiles on the floor. They use the plate, underside of the plate, and they tessellate them to make different designs for using them. So you can do all sorts with them because they're flat. They're a flat surface, but yeah, you can put them on studs. And I've seen people make like floors and decorations, and almost like rugs with them just in a line and in rows, using the unders in between of the plate color to almost be the background of the rug. So clever. Like people are so clever.
That's what's amazing about mocking, right? The way people use pieces, like you just wouldn't think of. So many ways to be clever.
Yeah, I know. It's like
drew from the inspiration of other builders.
Yeah,
always.
yeah. Well, it's like we said. Was it? I think. I can't remember which one it was. When we just said about the A-frame cabin, when you've got all those little hammers just to make up that.
Yeah.
The stone looking work. And
such a great detail.
Really beautiful as well to look at.
Yeah, it does. I've got it right there. It's such a good idea. And even though it doesn't, like, the pieces don't all fit together perfectly and there's gaps, but that is what makes it really, like, because it's a cabin in the woods that's been built a bit haphazardly, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't,
and again, not perfect. It has
exactly.
So that it keeps that realism, because no building is perfect, no house is perfect. You look around your house, there's all sorts of imperfections in the house that you notice that no one else may notice at all, but you notice them. So it's the appreciation that those imperfections are actually in the build as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much good.
Okay, I think that probably brings us to, and that's because it's 10:15.
Yeah. Oh, so, actually, because I forgot, Mark. Hello.
Yes.
Do you have a favourite element that you like to use with as well? I'm very bad at remembering.
Yes, we need to figure out where to fit this in because we do forget.
So, I have a joint first. So. Obviously, for me, one of my favourite pieces is the leaf piece. But I know Alberto chose that last last time. He picked that one. You know, that amazing piece.
I think that's a favourite piece of mine as well. I think,
Yes. So mine is.
Let me make you full screen. Sorry.
Good old masonry.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I love this so much. This brick, this style, transforms so many builds. You can use it in so many different ways. You've got the profile on the other side, so you've got the straight lines, so you can create, some straight wall design.
Yeah.
With the masonry, you can put them into, it doesn't matter which way you use them, it all matches cohesively. But using these on their own, whilst it looks really good and gives you that brick look, putting these in conjunction with plates and one by one tiles that have imperfections in them, and other bricks, using these as an accent.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things I've seen them used for is to create a brick wall with standard 1x2, and then having almost a opposite color in masonry to illustrate where some of the plaster's broken away.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
having
clever.
brick
Yeah.
exposed on the side, and you can capture that using masonry bricks really, really well. They're just so versatile, and we're getting them in more and more colors. So I have them in several colors, including obviously the earth green, which is the newest one, but I've got them in the white, the tan, the grays, the dark red. I've got them all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the lavender. The
Not
lavender
one-
1x4 and the coral. I've got them in
Not-
coral as well because of
Oh, I
course.
think I've got them
well, yeah.
coral.
So not 1x4 dark tan then.
Not 1x4 dark tan. 1x2 dark tan.
I have
No
issues with
1x4 dark
that.
tan.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a thing, right? A lot of people, well, the profile masonry brick is very popular.
Yeah.
And there's just a thing about collecting them, and I don't think it's just us. And
Many people do. They're just fun. Like collecting the leaf pieces are the other thing I collect.
Yeah.
I love collecting the leaf pieces of different colors. Like when I heard they were on the pad wall in gold, that's when I asked Gaz to pick me some up, because I was just like, I can't get there. I can't get there to get these. So my white masonry bricks were picked up by Carrie and Ian for me, and the lavender ones, the lamp posts, and the gold leaves were picked up by Gaz for me.
That's right.
Nice.
Because I couldn't get to the Lego stores to get them, but I knew
I got
I had
lucky.
to have those pieces.
Yeah,
So-
got lucky
so
to get
it-
the gold leaf and the white masonry,
I've
because
got
I
so many
happened to
of them
turn
now.
up just as they were restocking the wall in Southampton. And I was like, oh,
I have.
these are exactly what I wanted. There we go. Yeah, I've got about
look at
the
that.
same. In fact,
Yeah, I think
I've got hundreds of them.
I think I've actually got
Hundreds.
a bag full. So
Yeah,
you're
I've got
saying
a bag
about
full.
the so you're saying about the masonry bricks, and you can use it in combination with plates. If I just share
nice.
this,
Yeah.
so
You've got to have them.
So this is a bit of a build that I'm taking to Bricktastic, and I've done the similar thing to what Mark's saying there. That I'm not going to show the whole thing because it'll good. So what I've done a similar thing with the. This was supposed to be dark tan, by the way, not dark grey, but there you go. But I've actually done that with the curved plates here, just to break up the texture a bit. So it's just because it's meant to be like an old building anyway. You kind of get the whole slightly crumbled look as well. So it's just, as you're saying, it's such an adaptable brick, really, that if you just mix it with combinations and stuff, you get some really good looking.
Yeah, I do love that technique, or that style of having the 1x2 rounded plates and the quarter rounds, and you can chuck ingots in as well. I think you've got some ingots in there, right?
It's probably not showing up in this one. There's one down. There's actually one down there. They're good on corners as well, because you can get like a chip bit on the corner.
Yeah, and you can twist them a bit as well to have them at an angle. Yeah.
So that's just my little spoilery type bit, but I prefer to show the built version rather than So,
but then you have to go to Bricktastic to see the built version, or wait for you to put it up on Instagram afterwards.
Exactly, I'll do that.
I will. I always do afterwards. I always put high resolution pictures on afterwards.
Yeah.
I like people who are going to Bricktastic to get the experience to be able to see it. And then what I do is afterwards I take photos for those that can't make it. I take high resolution photos of it. But by the time I've taken the high resolution photos, there's already people very graciously who've already done it. They've already done it for me, and I look through the picture of yours that I used to show you my build. Your picture's a lot better quality than my picture. I'm just going to take yours and use it to illustrate mine.
That's what I found when I took some pictures of mine. I was like, oh, well, that's a good picture. And you see someone else's picture saying, well, that's much better. I'm not going to bother using mine.
But fun story, I had to rebuild. It was actually Carrie. So the first time I took Cafe Corner to display, it got damaged on the way home, and it got knocked. It was because I didn't know how to securely package things, and I thought, it'll be all right. It's a solid structure. Yeah, they're not fine. So I couldn't find reference pictures of how I built it. So Carrie went onto her video of showcasing it, took still shots and sent them to me so I could rebuild it. So I rebuilt my own build from Carrie's.
Nice, nice.
That's good. Always the way. That's cool.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, it's been amazing chatting to you, Mark.
Yeah, definitely.
Great to get some insight and get so genuine inspiration, like on multiple levels. I think your builds are genuinely inspirational. And I love that you display them and add that bit of diversity to the Lego community as a whole.
I think this, and then having the story behind it as well is something as well. So you've got the look of the building and the colours, and you have the story as well, and then just combined, I think people just take away from it. It's like, this is really good. I need to go home and build something now. So,
and that's it. It's just that one person. Yeah, if one person gets inspired to do it, that's one more person in the Lego community. That's one more person that has a creative outlet. It's one more person that can use Lego as a method to deal with things going on, because as we all know, Lego is a great support to mental health and stepping away from it all and just having fun and using it as a creative artist medium, because Lego is a form of artist medium. Your bricks are your canvas, and so you're producing works of art with your builds. And just like an artist paints on a canvas and creates a masterpiece of their own, we're doing the same with our Lego bricks.
Yeah.
Get a mug somewhere here. Hasn't been destroyed way back. To Manchester this year. There you go.
Just take lots of pictures.
See you later, KO.
Yeah, see you later.
Take lots of pictures. Yeah. I'm gonna wrap it in. Cling film.
Yeah, that's
everything's wrapped in cling
film. Actually, I did that when I moved house. I wrapped everything, so I have got a few things built up. So I had some of the Hogwarts sets, so I just wrapped them in the bubble, like in bubble wrap. Taped it all up, and that was absolutely fine. I think the only thing that came off maybe was like a flag, So it's like, I wonder where this goes, It's like nice and simple. So.
Yeah. Have you got anything that you want to plug, or are you up to much coming up other than fantastic?
So obviously, not too distant future, we've got amazing Bricktastic, but I've also got an upcoming stream which is actually going to be inspired by Friends, because this Saturday Greg has his Friends stream that's upcoming as well.
Yes, yeah.
And so I'm going to be on there with Simon and Dan and lots of other people, building and enjoying the Lego Friends theme. No doubt getting a history lesson through Collective Group, providing a little more insight into Lego Friends and how Lego Friends has gone from a theme that was targeted to bring, and they've admitted that it was designed to target and to bring in girls into the Lego space. And now we have Lego Friends that is up with the rest of the themes, standing up and proud, being a first for so much diversity, like not afraid to bring in new and exciting, new diverse characters and builds that just are just phenomenal. I mean, you only have to look.
Raising the bar as well for some of them the last couple of years as well.
Botanical Gardens,
yeah,
and then you've got the Modern Magic, like phenomenal sets, like amazing.
Pushing
so but
cool.
So there's that. And then of course there's my, as you mentioned at the very beginning, my Twitch streams, MOC 2 on Twitch. Most Sundays 2 p.m. I build. The only time I really build sets is live. And I do stickers as well, stickers live, so you can watch me fail putting stickers on and talk to myself. And
brave man doing stickers live. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
Cool. What have you got coming up, guys? Or what are you up to? Anything you want to celebrate? Doesn't need to be social based, or just like what's your couple of weeks involved?
Well, I've actually got one of my MOCs for Bricktastic here. So as you can see, it's really
That
quite good,
looks
isn't it?
amazing. I love that plastic bag element. I didn't realise we got that.
It's completely going off piece there with this. It's non-Lego, but I'm sure no one will notice. But yeah, no. So I'll be putting those together over the weekend is the plan. But then also, because I just can't stop thinking of ideas, I'm starting to take a notebook with me now, and I started filling up pages, thinking, "Oh, and you could do this. I think you've got the bricks to do this and take this." It's like, I need to stop now. So who knows? I might be building on the drive up. You know, who knows? We'll
Who
see.
knows? And
So not while driving.
No, not,
yeah, with Frankie driving, presumably.
Well, you need one hand to labour it. What are you up to, Ollie?
I've got Matt Elder's PolarBrix last stream of the season tomorrow. That's on YouTube at 8:30. And then otherwise, quiet week next week. No streaming for the first time in a while, which is kind of looking forward to it, actually. Yeah, I know, right? I've got my mock. I'm going to finish this.
Go live yourself.
Start on Twitch.
Yeah.
Don't come into my space. No, it's fine. No.
Inclusive, Mark.
No.
The gloves. Yeah. Come on, Mark.
I'm joking. Everyone's welcome.
But yeah, do that mock and then start planning my build for Reading, because that's not too far away.
No, that's already hurtling towards us at breakneck speed, isn't it?
Yeah, end of April. So
yes.
Yeah,
that'll mark a year. That I think, because we started at the same time, didn't we, Gaz? We displayed for the first time at Reading, didn't we?
Is it? Okay.
That would be not a year to the day, because I think Reading's earlier this year, but it'll be a year
it is, isn't it?
and to the cooler, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. I hope so. It was so hot in Reading last year. Oh my god.
I've heard.
Good show though. I did like it.
Yeah.
It's cool. So,
right. Well, let's wrap it up there. Yeah. Cool. Thank you again, Mark, and thank you everyone who's been chatting and watching.
And the next one for us is on the 21st. So that's only a couple of days before Bricktastic. So I may be nice and calm, or who knows by then.
I look forward to seeing potentially your frazzled hair, like mad scientist hair, while you're building away.
No different. And who's our guest for that one, the 21st?
That is TJ, Titanium J, at Titanium J52 on Instagram, for anyone who wants to go and check him out.
Cool. And thanks for watching, everyone. And I guess we'll see you all then. And enjoy the rest of your week.
See you later.
Okay.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.